Good evening, parents and guardians. We will start our webinar in about 1 minute. I'm waiting for more parents to come, attend, and join us. I just saw one question, so I want to answer that very quickly. There will be student orientations next week, and the information will be sent out at Friday's email. So tomorrow, wait for the email for the Zoom links that you can attend student orientations. Those orientation sessions will be actually geared towards for more students, not for parents. So this one, it will be for parents and we'll be able to answer your questions. I would like to wait 1 more minute and then we will start our webinar. Today, Mrs. Colon, our Dean of Student Services, joining us. I will be stopping my video so you can see my screen only. In order to ask questions, you should see Q&A option on your screen that you can type in your questions in the chat box. I will not be able to see your questions throughout the webinar, but Mrs. Colon will try to answer your questions. And there will be also Q&A session at the end. I will try to also answer some other questions. There were some questions asked on the survey, so I put them together and I will try to answer those questions at the end of this presentation. Okay, it's 6:31 p.m. I would like to start. We have a lot to cover, and thank you for being with us tonight. It may be a long presentation. I will try to record this. It's actually recording right now, and I will also share the PowerPoint as a PDF file. Maybe I can send it in the Friday email. So let me start with agenda. Today, we will talk about reopening plans. What was the update? Health and safety precautions we are taking in our school building. Addendum to the Code of Conduct. Frequently asked questions, as I mentioned, came in the surveys before. And then I will also go over questions that you can write in the chat box. So last week, we sent our plans with an email on Friday, and there was a webinar on Monday. We had to postpone our initial reopening plans, and the situation will be re-examined by the end of first quarter, 2 weeks before the quarter ends, and then we will let everyone know what will be our plans for the rest of the year, maybe at least 1 quarter. The goal is to implement our hybrid in-person model as of second quarter. All instruction will be delivered online through Canvas management system. And I know there are questions about Canvas. We will be sharing more information about that as well. At this time, we will only serve students that we identify as vulnerable students, and they will be offered either a 2-day or 4-day instruction schedule in our building as of September 14th. And we send emails to those parents. When we say vulnerable students, their parents should have received an email confirming the days of the week their students will report to school. All other students will continue online classes until further notice. If you are unsure about your child's situation, whether your child is categorized as vulnerable student or potentially vulnerable student who needs instruction in person, please email me, Mr. Kogel at mkogel@hamlincharter.org. Health and safety precautions. We have been installing hand sanitizing stations in the hallways, classrooms, cafeteria, and the restrooms. Staff and visitors must complete pre-entry screening form before entering the building. PPP equipment is ordered for nurse, security, and other staff members who are going to be in close contact with the students. 6 feet distancing signs in the hallways, and 1 student at a time for bathroom use. Daily cleaning of classrooms, deep cleaning on Wednesdays and weekends. We also removed all unnecessary furniture, textbooks, supplies from the classrooms. Students are not allowed to share materials, no passing papers in the class, everything will be digital. Students will be able to bring their supplies to classroom, but they should only use it for themselves. Hallway supervision to minimize student interactions will also be implemented. We have also made some updates to our technology infrastructure, such as teachers have the option to teach from school. They will be provided with a high definition webcam and tripod for a better view. And some teachers will also be teaching from home. They also have to comply with these expectations like better lighting and high definition webcam. And maybe in some cases, some teachers like math and science, they have to solve formulas. They will be provided with a touchscreen laptop. We are also switching to Canvas learning management system. Some pictures from the school. As you can see, one classroom here. We have placed, in this classroom, there are 13 desks at this time, and they are 6 feet apart from each other. And on the right-hand side, you can see a hand sanitizing dispenser as students enter the classroom. And 6 feet distance and signs when necessary, such as students or visitors coming to the building, although we will not allow visitors, only under extreme circumstances we will allow them. 6 feet distancing signs are placed, decals are placed on the floors, and we also have other posters and signs or reminders for students posted already in the hallways. Now I'll be talking about the addendum to the Code of Conduct. A detailed version of Code of Conduct will be shared with you in our website. Following are important highlights from that document. I will try to go quickly on this document because it will take a lot of time. I would like to focus on your questions. So I will just try to highlight very important things. Communication will be from parents to teachers and administration. Most of the time, emails are best, and we are sending a lot of things through the email. Please make sure that you provide us a email address that works. And we also check parents addresses if anything changed. For new parents, we were able to do that at the Chromebook pickup, but if anything changed, please notify us. You can send an email to teachers. You will be able to see teachers' email addresses on PowerSchool. You can also use Canvas to see your child's progress. We will be talking about Canvas soon, but you will be provided an account for Canvas as well, because PowerSchool accounts were provided. Either way, you can always reach out to IT if you forget usernames and passwords. Students also provided with passwords and Canvas to PowerSchool and PowerSchool as well. Visitors will not be allowed at this point. We prefer virtual meetings with parents. If really necessary, we will make necessary arrangements to accommodate parents. Attendance is required, and that's one of the things is a little bit different this year compared to last year. We will be very strict on attendance. We will be taking attendance every block, and then students will be required to turn their cameras on so teachers can see them, and students are expected to attend all classes and participate all the participation and class assignments. They need to engage with the assignments. Sometimes they have to attend discussions. They have to actively participate. Students are allowed to wear non-uniform clothing when they are when they are learning remotely, but we also have an expectation for those students to wear at least appropriate clothing. So some of the things we mentioned here for remote learning students, clothing should be appropriate in both messages as well as modest in appearance. Pajamas will not be allowed. We want students to be really in the school mood. When they wake up, we will start classes at 8 o'clock. We want them to have breakfast. We want them to wash their face. We want them to change their pajamas and find a place that is quiet. There's adequate lighting. They can connect. They can interact with their peers and their teachers. For students who are reporting to school in person, they have to wear the uniform. Classroom expectations and student discipline. We would like students to participate in all discussions, follow along the conversations and all the instructions provided by the teachers. We believe that this is only possible if students really pay attention to what's going on, come to class on time, pay attention to their teachers' instructions and do not interrupt the class. Teachers may take disciplinary actions such as removing the student from the session, putting them into a waiting room, also contacting the parents, and will also implement discipline points this year, which we did not during spring. We will also have our praise point system, the reward system in place. So please watch your emails. If there are any disruption, if there's an attendance issue, there will be notifications sent to you from school. Chromebooks, make sure your child's Chromebook is in working condition. Make sure to buy insurance. We have sent the link for insurance in the emails. If you still don't have it, please email myself or any school administration or school email address for the link. We strongly recommend, if something happens to the Chromebooks, we are not fixing them, we are not repairing them at HCSS West. It's best that you send them to insurance company, but you have to buy insurance first. Acceptable use policy. This is very general and which is very similar to what we have been implementing over the years because students already had their Chromebooks for many years. We will continue implementing very strict monitoring, filtering system, even if they're home. All those computers are connected to our school system. So please make sure that your child uses a Chromebook for educational purposes only. In case of an unacceptable use, as we have implemented consequences throughout the school year when the school was in session, we'll continue doing the same things. If a student violates these rules, it may go up to a suspension. Although we are not in person, students may be suspended from attending classes or school for a certain period of time, and that may go to their records. So please talk to your child. A lot of times, students make mistakes, very silly mistakes. They end up, visiting inappropriate websites. Although we have filtering, they can try to bypass the systems. Please talk to them and be careful about using school devices for educational purposes only. Personal electronics, we will not allow cell phone use in the classroom. We know that students will bring cell phones to school because they will be taking the bus or they will be dropped off, but we'll be asking them to shut them off during class and they can put them in their backpacks. We do not want them to vibrate. We do not want them to go off during the class, during instruction, especially for students who are reporting to school building. So please talk to your child, make sure that they turn that into silent mode throughout the day. In case of an emergency, they can always come to the main office and make a phone call to their parent. That will be very strict and there will be a warning, first warning, and then the second warning we may have to confiscate the electronic device, but we'll make sure that we inform you, the parents, if that happens the first time. So the expectations for remote learning, students who are going to attend classes virtually, there are categories or designations for attendance. Present, student is on time for class and stays for the duration of the class block. Excuse absence, student is absent with a valid excuse. You can see our handbook for valid excuses. Student is absent, student does not attend the block and school was not notified in advance with a valid excuse. Tardy, student is tardy if student is 5 minutes or more late to a class without a valid excuse. Excuse tardy, student is late for class without, this should be with a valid excuse, sorry about that. And skipping class, if a student skips or misses more than 10 minutes or more of a class, but attends a portion of the class, that will count as skipping class. And teachers will mark that on PowerSchool as skipping class, so you will see that or you may receive notifications about that. So please talk to your child. As we said, attendance is important and they have to attend the whole entire block in order to earn credit or not being marked skipping class. School day will start at 8 o'clock, but we will open our building at 7:30 for arrival, and at 8 o'clock, after 7:30, at 7:40 a.m., we will let students pick up their breakfast and report to their classrooms for students who are in the building. They will eat their breakfast until 8 o'clock in the classroom, clean up their desks, and the classes will begin at 8 o'clock. All the students reporting to school at this time will also connect remotely to their teachers' classes. These are 4 blocks you can see in the schedule. There is a lunch break during 3rd block, which is about 20 minutes. It's going to be different for each grade, so there will be different lunch waves in the building. When we have lunch in the building, students connecting remotely will also take a lunch break at their homes. Dismissal will be at 1:48 p.m. at this time. At this time, we're not having any after-school activities in the school, but there will be clubs and tutoring available after school to students online. I don't want to go into too much of the details on transitions. We would like to give students a mask break when they're in the building. The last 5 minutes will be a mask break. That will also be provided to students who are connecting remotely. First 5 minutes of the class will also be transition time. When you see those start and end times, we did not put any transition in between, but the first 5 minutes of each class will be transition for students to connect to another session. Last 5 minutes of the class for each block will be the mask break for students who are in the building. We'll be using Zoom accounts, although it's going to be under Canvas. We have purchased professional accounts from Zoom, which are encrypted and they are secure. Only students with HCSS usernames will be able to attend those classes. So there's Canvas as the first layer. They will log into Canvas with their username and password. And then from Canvas, they will move on to Zoom, which is the second layer of protection. So those links will be secure. No one else, no outsiders can attend those sessions when the classes are in session. As we mentioned, all the cameras should be on at all times. Students with their cameras off will be removed from the classroom or they may be marked absent. We talked about dress code, breakfast and lunch. We'll also provide grab and go lunches in the morning, and we'll also allow students to pick up breakfast on their way out at the end of the day if they're not coming to school the following day. We will also provide counseling and nurse services in the building by appointment, and counselors will also be available online for online appointments. School activities, as I mentioned, there will be virtual clubs or some other extracurricular activities, some class parties or grade level parties or praise point reward nights will happen. Technical difficulties in any issues with technical issues, please contact HCSS IT department, or you can also contact the teachers. They will direct you to the right direction. So safety measures, social distancing. All students are expected to be 6 feet apart at all times, including arrival time. We will be placing signs at the door. Any student arriving at the school, not taking the bus, getting off the bus, will be waiting at the door if they arrive before 7:30. After 7:30, we will let them in the building. They will go to cafeteria, and they will also see signs in the cafeteria when they pick up their breakfast. There's also social distancing signs. All students are required to wear masks. Approved masks, disposable surgical mask, cloth mask, neck gaiters, and N95. Respirators, face shields do not constitute a replacement for a mask. Face shields may be worn in addition to an approved mask. It's up to you what type of mask you choose. As long as they fit in these categories, they're fine. I also sent, I believe last Friday, some requirements or frequently asked questions about mask requirements by the state health department. So if you're considering buying a mask, please follow those guidelines. We also talked about masks with ventilators. As far as I know, there was a detail about that. They may not be ideal with like a little valve on it. That may not be the best mask to use. In the event that students don't bring their masks, we will provide them disposable masks that could be worn for the same day. We're not going to check temperatures because State Department of Education is asking us not to, but in the event that students are exhibiting the symptoms, either on the bus or arrival to school or during the class, they may be referred to the nurse. Nurse can do the preliminary screening, and if she feels that student needs to be picked up, we will contact the parents. We will have an isolation room. Students will be escorted to that room, will be supervised, and we'll wait for parents to arrive. It will be downstairs, the first classroom on the basement floor. That way, parents can quickly pick up their child. We will escort the child outside, and then student will be going for home. We talked about hand sanitizing stations. We talked about signs, classroom expectations. We talked pretty much all of that. Bus expectations, same thing. Students taking the bus will be placed apart from each other. There will be enough room in the buses so that students can maintain social distancing. At this time, we don't have bus monitors, but the bus driver will be in charge, and we also record bus sessions, or when students riding the bus, there are cameras recording the students. So we may be watching them in the event that students are not following the expectations. Hallways, we talked about that. Restrooms, we are planning on allowing one student at a time. At this time, we'll be using only the main floor in the main building, and that hallway will be supervised. We talked about medical waiting room. There will be no lockers allowed until social distancing is lifted. Backpacks are allowed in the classrooms. Students can bring their personal belongings, which should not be too many materials. So we already sent the supply list in the email last Friday. We're not asking for too much, maybe a notebook or pen or pencil to write, a hand sanitizer if you want, although we have filling stations or hand sanitizing stations in the classrooms, or wipes if you want, it's up to you. And also students will bring their Chromebooks. I also want to mention about headsets. Students at this time coming to school building, we strongly recommend that you get your own headset, which is a microphone and earphone together. We will provide our own headsets, but at the same time, if you don't feel comfortable using the school headsets, you can bring your own headsets and you can let us know you're going to buy your own so that we can plan accordingly. Student pickup and drop off, I just want to show you the same pickup and drop off area. The only difference, as you remember, returning parents and students, there was a gate right next to this pickup and drop off area. That gate was usually open. We will open that gate for students to enter and exit. We will place signs for pickup. There will be social distancing signs right before that gate, so students can wait in a socially distanced manner so that the parents can drive up to the pickup area and see their child and pick them up. There will be supervision at that area. For all other times, the bus schedule is important. In the morning, buses are going to arrive by 7:40. So we don't want any parents to drive in the parking lot if there are buses. You will see the cones blocking the entrance. Only buses will be allowed during that time. If all the buses are gone, you can enter the parking lot. You can drive up to the main entrance, just drop your child off, and we'll let your child in the building. Same thing for after school pickup. If there are buses in the parking lot, you're not allowed to enter the parking lot, but you can wait in this area. Please look at these signs. There is no parking sign, as you can see on this map, which belongs to our neighbors. It's blocking their entrance. So we don't want anyone to park in that area, but instead, please pull all the way to the forward in this parking area, because there's enough space for a lot of cars, usually for after school pickup. Breakfast and lunch, we will be providing breakfast in the morning for students, and there will be also lunch. Students will eat in the cafeteria, different lunch waves. At this time, there are enough seats available in the cafeteria, and there will be also ventilation windows will be open. Students will come in groups, and every time a group eats lunch in the cafeteria, the other part of the cafeteria, the tables on the other side, will be cleaned, wiped, sanitized, and then the other group will come and eat on those tables. We talked about cyberbullying. We turned our bullying form, which can be found on our website, into an online form, a digital form, in the event that you're suspecting students are being bullied, either in person or online. You can fill out the form and notify administration. School activities, we're not going to have gym in the traditional way. Students will not change for gym, but it will be modified to accommodate school uniforms. There will be movement in the building if the students are reporting to building in person. There will be also spaces like gym class for students who are learning virtually. I want to talk about communication protocol very quickly. In the event that you're having issues or you have questions or you have problems with your child's teacher or the class, we want you to communicate with the teacher first. In many cases, you can work out the problem with the teacher. But if you're unable to work out the problem with the teacher, we have grade chairs. Grade chairs will be the next step for you communicating to school in a way that you follow through with the teacher. Most of the time, it's about the grades, it's about attendance, it's about records. Those type of issues usually start with the teacher because they are course related. And then the grade chair. In the event that grade chair cannot answer your questions, then you can either contact counselor, school counselor, depending on the case. If the student has a 504, if the student has an IEP, you can also contact school special education services coordinator. You can also contact a disciplinary person if it's discipline related, or you can contact student services. So at this time, this is our administrative body. You can contact me if you couldn't resolve those issues with all those individuals. But a lot of times it does not require me to be involved. But you can always email me. I will either direct you to the right person or I will have that person to reach out to you. Disciplinary issues, you can contact Mr. Burgess. Student services, Mrs. Colon, more for scheduling, academic issues. And we have Ms. Stafford as a secretary for any paperwork related questions or concerns. So coming up next, grade chairs. I put here, grade chairs will reach out to you, but instead of that, we decided that we'll send all the links for student orientations in Friday email. So I put together all the Zoom links for teachers for each grade level. There will be grade level orientations next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There will be 2 grade levels per day. You will find the links and the time. It will start at 2 p.m. But again, this is more geared toward students, not for parents. We want students to become familiar with their teachers. Teachers will introduce themselves. They will talk about the courses they will teach, and they will also talk about common expectations, grade level expectations they have for their students. And for eligible students, for this hybrid model that we only accept vulnerable students, I will be sending bus schedules next week as well. So we have some frequently asked questions that came in the surveys. I would like to answer those questions before moving on to your questions if you have any. I believe Mrs. Colon is helping answering those questions at the moment. First question, if a child is absent on an in-school day, for example, with call or an appointment, can they participate online that day? Yes, they can. If the students are supposed to come to school, but they have an appointment, if their appointment is over, they can be excused if you send us the note, the doctor's note, and they can participate in other classes online. My daughter has a new Chromebook I purchased when they had to do online with her other school. Will it work? It might work. We recommend you to contact IT, and IT will take a look at, I believe you already taken care of this Chromebook, so they can be under our domain, so we can add them into our filtering system so that students only work on educational websites. If my child takes lunch to school, will there be a microwave? So we will be eating in the cafeteria at this time. Yes, there will be microwave. As long as they follow social distancing guidelines, they can use the microwave if they want to. If you don't want your child to warm their food in the microwave due to health concerns, you can decide not to send that type of meal. There will be hot meal served in the school building for all students. Will the days be rotational or set when we release a calendar? So we have sent, at this time, only vulnerable students will be allowed in the building, and we have sent them their schedules Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or all 4 days. We already sent them in the email. As I said, if you haven't received that email, if you're unsure about your child's situation, you can reach out to me. Can child have a Chromebook before starting school? Yes, we have distributed all the Chromebooks to our new students. If you haven't received your Chromebook yet, and if you're a new student and parent, please contact school. How many children are going to be in a classroom? Right now, we can fit 13 students. In some cases, 14 students can fit in one classroom. Right now, it's not the same setting for teachers to teach in the classroom. As I said, there will be only supervision for vulnerable students. Students will be in a study hall type of environment that they will be connecting their classes remotely from their computers. Teachers will be in a different room, either in the school building or home. There will be a supervisor walking around the classroom depending on students' needs. They may be helping students. It depends on the child. We are concerned about amount of homework and especially more screen time. We have reduced the homework requirements. Right now, we only have one homework per week for each core class. Siblings at school on the same days, yes, we are working on that, but at this point, we don't have many siblings because of vulnerable students plan. Will they need to use uniform if we choose online? They don't have to wear a uniform if they're only remotely connecting, but we want them to be in proper clothing. How will social distancing and masking mandates be enforced? We will be following a strict disciplinary program in order to enforce those expectations. We will have grade level expectations at the student orientation. We'll talk to students. We'll also talk to students when they first arrive at the school building. We'll go over the expectations with them. As I mentioned, there will be deep cleaning and sanitizing every day, and also Wednesdays and weekends in more detail. School bus sitting, they are going to be spaced out. As I mentioned, the number of students in each bus is very low at this time. Can my child goes hybrid after school, proving having no positive cases? So we want, at this time, we are only accepting vulnerable students. That means right now we're not giving other parents a choice to send their kids to school. We will do this for one marking period. When we move on to second marking period, if those issues, most of the issues that we were facing is the other school districts all going remote, kind of creates an issue or problem with most of the teachers not having childcare or not being able to send their kids to school. So more districts or more towns or cities open up, they start moving towards hybrid. I believe we will be able to move on to hybrid education for all students at that time. Will they still have time with teachers online? Yes, there will be tutoring, there will be clubs, there will be office hours for teachers so they can connect with their teachers online other than the class time. I would like to know what happens since there are so many Monday holidays. Do they make up these days? I mean, there's no difference because all the students will be connecting remotely. So if Monday sessions are lost, all the students will lose those Monday sessions. So it's not going to make any difference in terms of the days or hours lost. Bus routes will be different. I'll be sending the bus schedules for eligible students next week. Will there be added support for students choosing the online model? We will have a counselor available, and I believe she will make a schedule, a calendar. Students can make appointments outside class time if possible. But in the case of an emergency, we can also allow them to see the counselor as we did, as if they were in the school building. If hybrid, yes, student uniforms are still in place. In the transportation phones, will there be monitors? We're not going to have monitors, but they will be video recording. If my child becomes irritated or claustrophobic due to mask, will they be able to take off mask? Okay, we will have mask breaks every block. Last 5 minutes of each block, there will be a mask break, and students will be able to take off their masks when they're eating in the cafeteria during lunch block. Insurance information is shared with parents, and again, if you can't find it, just let us know. Do I have the option to change my mind? I think these questions were asked before we switched to our vulnerable students model. So we will, if we start going hybrid second quarter, and if not all the parents choose hybrid, And then after second quarter, if parents would like to change their minds, at that time, we will give everyone a chance to change their mind from remote to hybrid or hybrid to remote. My child is concerned that he won't meet his teachers and not make friends because he will be remote. How will the step and children get to know each other? How will students get uniforms? So I think student orientation will help students get to know each other. Next week, teachers will introduce themselves, and they're thinking about, going over students, especially new students, especially sixth grade, I'm talking about, to kind of introduce themselves if they're planning on sharing their, background, or if they want to, get to know each other. There will be an opportunity for them to virtually meet. Will the classes be divided as last year? Example, honor students with other honor students, or everyone be combined? It will be same as last year. There will be honor groups, there will be AP classes, there will be electives. They all will be on the schedules. Right now, schedules are being uploaded. There might be some minor issues. Please notify them, especially students can spot those issues quickly, like a grade level or section, or some of the courses not being assigned the way they wanted. So they're going to be uploaded on PowerSchool throughout the week. All students should have their PowerSchool accounts to log in and check their schedules. I am wondering how arrival and dismissal work for drop-offs. I'm guessing I can drop off at 7:40 a.m. Yes. What about picking up? Presentation starts 1:40. So we will be dismissing at 1:48. Students will pick up breakfast for the following day, and then students can be picked up, as I said, at that gate, socially distancing, they will be waiting. Okay, I have all my questions answered. I have finished my presentation. So breakfast and lunch menus be posted online. Yes, we can do that. We have been doing it last year. We can do that. We need to contact lunch company. If they send us their lunch and breakfast menu, we can post them on our website. Okay, so when even we voted for the hybrid, my son will be attending school online only, correct? And he is not IEP or ELR qualified. Most probably, yes, your son will be attending school online if you haven't received an email from me saying that your child will be coming to school on certain days. So those are questions. I can answer some other questions if you have any. You can write in the chat box. I see that many of questions were already answered. But if you don't have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Our school building will be open as of next week from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We were following the summer schedule, but as of next week, starting Tuesday, we will open the building from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And as of September 14, school building will be open as early as 7:30. Any other questions, you can write in the chat box on Q&A. I can try to answer them. Drink some water. I've been talking for 30 minutes. The students that will be doing the hybrid, will they need to go online on the day they are not in school? Yes, that's a good question. So let's say your child is eligible at this time to come to school in our hybrid model for 2 days, Mondays and Tuesdays. All other days, all other 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they have to attend classes virtually, remotely. Same platform, same system, but please make sure they wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, because that was one of the biggest issues last year. They have to go to bed early, they have to get up early, have breakfast, and be ready. If I didn't get an email, did that mean my child is all online? Most probably, yes. If your emails are working, if you have been receiving emails from me, that means you probably didn't receive the email. But if you're unsure, just send me an email and I can get back to you if your child is going to be in the building or not. Do kids have physical books, or are they all online? There will be some physical books for some classes, such as AP classes. We will be distributing them to AP students. So they will pick up a book, they will take them home, hold on to their books throughout the school year, and then return them at the end of the year. So that arrangement will be made by the AP teachers. Students will be allowed to come to the building with their parents to pick up their books. Since my student has an IEP, she's only going Monday or Tuesday or Thursday, Friday. It's still in the works as well. I know they only go 2 days in person. Just want to clarify if it's only Monday and Tuesday. If you chose Monday and Tuesday only, that's probably what we put on the schedule. If Monday and Tuesday doesn't work, if you want to switch to Thursday or Friday or 4 days, just let me know. At what time the classes start? All the classes begin at 8 o'clock. And they will end at 1:48. As I said, there will be like 5-minute transition at the beginning of each class and 5-minute mask break at the end of each block. So it's like a transition for all students. And then there will be a lunch break for all students. We want to do it grade by grade. There will be 5 different lunch waves starting as of 3rd block. And students will go to lunch at different times. All students connecting remotely will also eat lunch at home at that time. That's the expectation. Will my child be able to use their home computer if they want to? They can, as far as I know, Canvas, PowerSchool, or even Gmail accounts work with any computer, because last year or in the past we had students issues with their Chromebooks. So when they are sending their Chromebooks to, repair, we can give them a loaner, or they can use your home computer. If there are issues with that, let us know. We might give you a loaner computer like a Chromebook to replace that. I couldn't see the other question, but probably answered. Any other questions you can write in the Q&A box. Can we know ahead of time the lunch time in order to have the lunch on time? How much time for a lunch break? Yes, there will be 20 minutes. Let me see if I can actually find the lunch schedule. Although this is not final, just to give you an idea, I don't know if you're able to see my screen still, but there will be 5 groups. So 6th grade lunch starts at 10:44 for 20 minutes. 7th grade, 11:04 for 20 minutes. 8th grade, 11:24 for 20 minutes. And then 9th grade, 11:46 for 20 minutes. And then 10th and 11th grade will be eating their lunch at 12:06 for 20 minutes. Okay. Any other questions? I've been having trouble staying connected. Can the Q&A be emailed to us? I wish I could. I don't think I can copy and paste, but I'm recording the session. So I'm hoping that I can upload this to YouTube and share with you. If you would like to watch this later on, I will talk to IT about that. But if you have questions, you're more than welcome to email me or administration or the school. If you don't have any other questions, I can end the session for tonight. Just to wrap up, we will be sending more details in the email. Please check your email Friday. And for Canvas, I know we talked about that. Students will be sent instructions as to how they can log in to Canvas. And there's also a training module on Canvas for students to navigate on the platform or learn how to use Canvas. At this time, a lot of teachers already created their classes on Canvas. So they will see each class as like a different folder, and they will be able to start seeing and interacting with the teachers. For parents, there will be instructions to be sent, but as far as I know, Canvas, you can see your child's work. It's like a read-only access, so you cannot do any work which you shouldn't be anyways. Students will be doing all the work, but you'll be able to see. It's different than Google Classroom. It has more features that you'll be able to see what your child is doing. It's also synced with PowerSchool. So whenever something is updated on Canvas, it will also be updated on PowerSchool. So that will be maybe one of the most useful benefits, switching from Google Classroom to Canvas, allowing teachers updating everything in one place, but syncing in both platforms. Okay, I don't see any other new questions. Thank you very much. So I will send it to the emails if I can upload it to YouTube tomorrow. If I can't, I will send the PowerPoint presentation as an attachment tomorrow in the email. There will be live classes on Canvas. Yes, students are expected to go on the Canvas and attend live sessions on Canvas. 7:15 p.m. Thank you very much for attending tonight's webinar. As I said, if you have any additional questions, you can always reach out to us, call the school. We will be open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. next week, or you can email myself or school email address hcsswest@hamptoncharter.org. Have a wonderful evening, and we wish you all a wonderful school year, especially our students coming to school. Thank you.